Hi, I'm Dwayne Slabonic, and today I'm doing do a comparative project on two papers that I read on mindfulness. One article is by Ordaway, and it's called "Mindfulness in Schools: Promoting Social and Emotional Learning in the Classroom," and the other one is by M. Krukten or Krukchun, "The Benefits of Interpreting Mindfulness and Yoga in the Elementary Classroom." The first one is it's organized into four chapters, followed by reference and appendices. So there's an introduction, literature review, and then the argument, focusing back on the literature review as to why mindfulness should be used in the classroom. And then there's a conclusion. And the other paper is actually quite longer, and it doesn't have chapters but has the following main headings: Introduction, Literature Review, which is broken up into 9 subheadings. There's Method, Results, which also has a bunch of subheadings. There's 7. And there's a discussion, and then, of course, references, appendices, and then some figures and tables that were used for the project. Um, the research question for the first one is looking at research that shows the various benefits of mindfulness programs in school, and should mindfulness become part of the curriculum in K to 12 schools, whereas the other one is more of a focus on the actual the benefits of using yoga and mindfulness relaxation training in the classroom. There's some similarities here, but we'll see some differences as we go on in the presentation. Um, Academic concepts and theories. It's a bit tricky to find some things, but they both did talk about social emotional learning, which is quite popular in the educational realm. And the one that dealing with yoga is talked about Orlick a bit. I looked him up a bit. Is dealing with the psychology of excellence, um, where a lot of sports talk is put into this as well, where in doing something, and it's dealing with being able to be in flow state and being able to be the top of your game. And it was quite interesting how he looked at mindfulness and how it was important that using mindfulness allows one to benefit in many ways. The methods of the study, the first one was, it says, well, since the research is only looking at previous research and how mindfulness affects the different realms of learning, there really is no method present. There's no actual study or experiment. Nothing like that took place, but rather review of research and discussion to point out the benefits of mindfulness practice in the classroom. Um, and whereas in the other study, the methods were, it was an experiment. So there's 20 grade 1 students, relaxation activities, yoga were administered twice a week for 30 minutes over 6 weeks. There was a mood inventory questionnaire given before and after each session, and students also had a journal they could write in to express their feelings. And then there were statistics that were done to see if there was any significance in the results. Um, so looking back at the one that was more of a review of research, there was no actual statement of methodology. However, based on the research used to find important trends and phenomenon in the classroom, it would be what I would consider qualitative research. In addition, the goal of this thesis was to push for reform in the classroom curriculum to have mindfulness practice implemented. Um, the other one where they had kids doing yoga, it's more of a quantitative study to find the effect that yoga and mindfulness and relaxation training in the classroom actually had on the students. There was some both, I could say there were both qualitative and quantitative data collected. However, the study does look at a direct correlation between the activities and the feelings, like cause and effect. Ontology and epistemology, I found in these master's theses that they didn't really talk about it too much. However, it seemed to touch on some interpretative knowledge. There was discussion in both papers how truth and knowledge was open to interpretation, what might be best for individuals that were using mindfulness, um, and that the stories of individuals had value. So from there, I kind of took away that it wasn't like it wasn't like empirical, whereas like we need to find, or positivism, where we have to there's only one truth and we're going to solve it through scientific method necessarily. But it seemed that mindfulness, as we know, is like a lot of Buddhist monks would use in whether it is for meditation. There was kind of, it's open to interpretation, and I think that kind of flowed into their actual papers as well. And the sharing findings, well, since the first one was research based on literature review, the author used text to discuss and conclude their findings, whereas the other one was study used text numerical data with charts and statistics and student journal samples. But both research papers show the importance of having mindfulness practice in the classroom, and they did both use literature to support this. Similarities and differences, both focus on the benefits of mindfulness use in the classroom. One was more qualitative versus the other one being quantitative, and research review versus kind of a study experiment, and overall effects. The first one doing the review was more like, let's look at everything like physical, mental, emotional, social, academic of mindfulness, versus more of a focus on the emotional well-being. And there you have it. And that's it. Have a great day.